going to run you through the tackle I used to win the World Champs now. Dead simple, as all my fishing is really. I use an 11 foot Parabolics Pro ultralight for the first 2 hours. Now I can hear you all thinking, why is using an ultralight feeder for? But the first 2 hours are crucial. Bites were at a real premium, and every fish, everyone's so good, every fish you hook needs to go in the net really for the first 2 hours, because you can't bully them. So I've used an ultralight there. All the power for the ultralight is in the butt section. I can still chuck 30-40 metres of this if I need to, but the idea of the rod is the top carrier section is dead soft, so you get proper big parabolic bend round. So when I hook a fish, I know that I can give it a bit and I'm going to get them up, miss the rocks, but it's soft enough I'm not going to hook pull. Because the Carassio are amazing. If you hooked them in the bottom lip, you could swing them anywhere, they were not coming off. But if you hooked them around the face here, anywhere around that sort of part, they were dead funny fish, but they go down quickly and you pull off. So the first 2 hours we were going steady. I used the Ultra Foot 11 foot. Use 11 foot rather than a 10, because under your feet, literally here, there's great big boulders the size of Tesco shopping trolleys. So you catch your line on them, you're dinking them off. So 11 foot was really important, and lean forward, get the fish up and bits and pieces. So that's why I use that. Literally halfway point, I put that down, and I picked up probably my favourite rod in the entire range of map rods is the Parabolics Ultra 2 in 11 foot, 25 to 35 gram casting weight on that. A lot more power through the rod. I didn't go for the SUV version, basically for the same reason. I want to minimise hook pulls. But that rod's got a lot more power. I can really, them two sort of a kilo to 3 kilo fish are coming later in the match. So by fishing this rod here, I've got a lot more control over the fish and I can pull them up and do what I need to do. So rods were dead simple. Didn't have a bait up rod. When I put the bait up feeder on, I put it on that one, chucked it out, no issue at all. Worked perfectly all day. Didn't waste time by changing over bits and pieces. Right. Line, really important. Use an 8 pound straight through reel line, because again, the rocks, you're fishing, you're casting regularly, casting 25 metres, you're putting loads of pressure on the line. You want a line that's dead strong, not going to fail you. So just use 022, 3.5 kilo, 8 pound, really strong, 300 metres in a spool. So just put a whole length on. If you do look a big fish and it runs off, it's no issue at all. So dead simple reel line, perfect. Hook lengths, again, really strong compared to most teams really. I started at 0.21 and I finished at 0.21. The hook size kind of didn't really make any issue, so we just fished a 10 all day. Fished a 10, hooked to 0.21, started on that. Even though the bites were iffy, you were still getting bites, but you've got it on there. If you hook a great big fish, you can really pull. You're not going to lose it. It's not going to snap you, essentially, because you're fishing, what's that? It's 10 pound. It's it's rope. So really, really important. The fish weren't line shy. There's no point in going under gun because you're going to lose them. Hook wise for me, this year was a new year. I've never really tried them before. I used a Gamakatsu A1 team feeder fine carp hook in a 10. It's just a carp hook basically, dead strong. You put a maggot or 2 bloodworm on there, or 2 red worms, really strong. Pull the fish out, eliminated hook pulls really. You get them right in there. It was never. Sometimes you had to scourge them. It was like trying to get it out. It was that difficult to get out. Feeder wise, I used to use a cage feeder. I've used a 5-hole cage feeder, like 25 mil across by 35 mil long. Started on that, put a few feeder falls in, and then just as the match changed in bits and pieces, and as the fish went off the feed, changed over and put the bait up on it, and literally fished for an hour with that, probably both days. And I know it sounds really stupid, that is a lot of feed to be putting in, but when there's that many mouths there, they want to feed in. So feeders, again, just anodised metal feeders, proper strong, get on the bottom, you can hardly squeeze them, and just keep putting bait in. Again, scissors, most importantly. Charlie Richards worked out in the week, if you chopped all your worms in one go, you didn't catch as many big Carassio, and it's quite a clever way to work out for him at someone his age. Basically, you were getting your worms and having them into your ground bait bowl like you would do red worms, literally 2 snips and then feeding them, and you had to prep your bait for the next chuck. So basically you chuck out, and as you're setting your tip, you get 2 or 3 worms, put them in there, snip, and then that was ready for the next cast. By having a load of them chopped up weight in the side tray, you tend to get more cats in the peg, whether the worms had degraded a bit, and rotted off a bit maybe in the heat. But chopping every chuck fresh worms was really, really important to catch them Carassio. So having a real good pair of scissors was really, really invaluable. And then last but not least for me, stopwatch. Even when I'm catching regularly, I always try to chuck out, dunk, and just sit it in the corner of my ground bait bowl. And literally we knew that most bites there happened as the bait hit the bottom and the fish came in and nailed you. And it was very, very rare, even through all practice all week. If you got a bite after 2 minutes, it was like a rarity. So literally, you're wasting time. So 2 minutes, reel in, chuck it again. 2 minutes, reel in. The amount of times you'd get a bite within 15 seconds of it hitting the bottom was like, well, nearly all the fish you hooked properly were nailed bottom lip within 10 seconds of hitting the bottom. And the amount of time you chucked in, gone to tighten up, and as you're tightening, it's off the rest. Hence the reason, 2 relatively soft rods. So if you're fishing a stiff rod there, you're probably pulling out of them on the take, because as like some of the guys call them brick bites. You'd be sat there rodding your rest, and it's like someone got a brick, tied it to your braid, threw it in, you probably just go doosh doosh. And how the fish get that much speed up to break 0.21 is like beyond me. But with them soft rods and fishing thick lines, you had a bit more bend and forgiveness, so you didn't. And the amount of times you're trying to get to your clip and unclip, at least them softer rods, you had that choice and that half a second of chance. And both days, the first day I got 3 carp out, like 2 kilo a piece, and the second day I got, I think, 4 or 5 carp out, and probably without fishing that heavy line and soft rods, I wouldn't have got them out. So just a brief insight into the kit I used. Nothing complicated, dead simple, real simple reason behind it, and just worked fantastically. And brand new rod for us. It's now a world champion rod. We should have called it World Champion.